This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, there he is, fresh off of shoot around. Good afternoon, sir. Hope you had a good weekend.
Good weekend, but just too much traveling back and forth to Boston. Same hotel room as the last two times, same hotel. Not shocked to be here for Game 7, even after up 3-0, because the Celtics are good. And they're the better team talent-wise. So you could say for the Heat to get here to a Game 7, hey, maybe this is the way it always should have been anyway.
What do you think about all the stinking whining about the 3 seconds?
You know what? It just is. It's just a moment in time happened that no one could see coming. 1/10 of a second, 3/10 of a second. Maybe Smart shoots the ball even faster. The NBA went to replay, did what they thought was best. There is no conspiracy, Big O. You know what? The players are fallible. The referees are fallible. The replay center is fallible. No one blames a player after a turnaround, a turnover, or a missed free throw. That's part of it. It's a human error sport. If you disagree, fine. If you want to say they made a mistake, fine. But that's what sports is all about. That's what life is all about. I think you just move on.
Listen, in the end, and I tweeted this out, there's Horford's arm on Butler, 3 seconds. Okay. Bottom line, in the end, let's see. Duncan Robinson was 3 of 4 from 3-point range at the moment that he shot 2 that missed.
Wide open. Wide open.
And then you're Caleb, or I think it's Strus. You had a shot to box out White and you failed.
No, he met his assignment. He did what he was told.
So then who was supposed to box out White?
There was no box out on the inbounder. The thought on the approach, Big O, was to put 2 on Jason Tatum, and if someone else beats you, you live with it. Because you know and I know.
On the side of that bounce, Jason Tatum's flying on the right side too. He may have had a chance to tip it in if the ball bounces to the right instead of to the left. My point is, you had all the basketball plays to make to win the goddamn game. So if you don't box out White or Tatum and you don't make those 2 3-pointers, brother, how much more help do you want? Overall, you had every opportunity to seal that game. Sure. And by the way, when he's touching him there, when you see that, is Butler's foot on the 2-point area or the 3-point area in that moment?
It's when he shot. They reviewed it and they said it was a 3-point shot. I know what you're saying. Again, it's not when he's touched. It's when the referee blows the whistle, which is not shown in the photo.
But if you're going to put 3 seconds, this is 3 seconds. That's what I'm saying. This is the 3-second point.
On the television clock.
And by the way, as Butler's making his way there, he carries the ball too.
No, they ruled he didn't. If you bobble the ball and regain possession, it's not a carry. And they addressed that in the officiating report. And they addressed it, and I've seen that call before.
Listen, it's the NBA. They can address whatever they want. I know what I saw. Okay?
And they know the rules.
Yeah, you can tell me what you want. That doesn't mean I have to believe the bullshit you're selling me, okay? And the NBA is a load of bullshit on a consistent basis. But the bottom line, having said it all, you had the basketball plays to make, and you failed. And you played like shit the entire game. And for anybody in the Heat Nation to feel entitled at the end of that game with the way you played, that's the part I kind of find absolutely hilarious.
And yet, if a ball doesn't go in with 1/10 of a second to go, you look at the Celtics up 10 with 4 minutes to go, and you go, using your bad word, I'll use a different word, they crap the game away. Because holy crap, how did the Celtics ever let a 10-point lead with 4 minutes to play devolve into an absolute desperation, once-in-a-lifetime play? Also, look, these teams have both looked shaky at times for teams in the conference final. Boston, let's face it, Big O, has looked terrible during clutch time in this series. The games they have won, they have been up big. A couple of times they've held the lead. A couple of times they've barely held on, or one time they barely held on. So the Celtics hardly have played as the most poised team at the finish either. These are flawed teams that have played over 100 basketball games this season. This is what you see when you turn to Memorial Day to play a little bit more basketball. I understand. I heard you in your previous segment talking about the line is 7.5. I thought it might have been more for the Celtics, and yet, I'm sorry, but I don't see this game as a given. There are other times during the season, during the playoffs, you might have told me, hey, Ira, Milwaukee game 2 is going to come back and crush their butt, and they did. The Knicks are not going to lose a game 5 at home, and they didn't. I get that. I'm just like, my mom asked me today, and I said, no, I would not bet the farm on this game, even though every indicator is pointing toward Boston, because Big O, this Heat season this year, we just don't have a clue the way the Heat season has played out.
Well, I right now my concerns are Jimmy Butler. I think he's fried. I think his legs are done. When White blocked it 2 games ago, and then Tatum, there's no lift there. I think it was pure balls and adrenaline that he found some fumes left in his tank at the end to try to make something happen. And God bless him, he made it happen. But my real concern going into tonight is I think Jimmy Butler is spent, dude. I don't think he's injured. Some people are saying injured. I don't believe any of that. I believe that the man, he's a freaking human being, bro, and he's been a machine. And he's
33.
He's killed himself. And so I that's where I don't have a lot of hope for tonight. You know, Jimmy can make all the bold predictions, but it's that scene in Top Gun. Son, your ego's writing checks your body can't cash. And that's what I'm really concerned about right now with Jimmy Butler. It's not the person. I'm concerned about the human being right now being worn out at this point.
You know, and Big O, this is one of the few times in our recent Acura Pembroke Pines reports I would agree with you, except for this. During that game, I actually texted a confidant of Jimmy, and I said, my quote was simply this: injury or illness, ? Because he did not look like himself. But in that fourth quarter, when he scored 15 points and got to the foul line for 10 free throws, he looked reborn, for lack of a better word. What I'm saying is this: there was no more pacing himself. I even thought Jimmy
paced himself. But wait a minute. He was pacing himself. He was passing up shots. He was trying to
I agree.
That's what he did. He saved his energy till the end.
And I believe tonight he won't. And tonight we will see if he can call upon one last time, muster, you know what, Heat's expression, every last ounce. That's what tonight's game is about. I agree with you, Big O. We'll see it early. But sometimes you can muster, in these moments of adrenaline, every last ounce. Look, he might be spent on Tuesday and spent on Wednesday, and thankfully the finals aren't until Thursday. Or Big O, unfortunately, he might have 3 months to rest after tonight's game. But I think whatever modern medicine can do, whatever Butler ego can do, whatever playoff Jimmy can muster, I think we'll see tonight. I agree with you. First 3 quarters, we were all sitting there on press row going, what the hell is with Jimmy? And you're right. He is 33, who's had to carry too much of a load because Bam Adebayo's not scoring, because Tyler Hero hasn't been available, because they've had to change the lineup because Kevin Love couldn't get back on defense or close out to the 3-point line. They have asked everything for him. I'm going to let you in on a secret, and I know Stan Van Gundy said this on the broadcast also. If the way the game went through 3 quarters, the Heat somehow would have pulled it out, I was very close for voting Caleb Martin over Jimmy Butler for the Larry Bird Award for MVP of the series for what he injected into the series. Tonight, maybe Jimmy changes the voting again.
Like I've said before, if there's a guy on this team that could become the second star, not is, because there are no second stars on this team, it's Caleb, not Bam Adebayo. Caleb's the one that has, you know, quite frankly, it's what I said earlier. The balls, bro. The balls. That's what happens.
Could be Tyler Hero. Could be Tyler Hero also.
Adebayo's problem is his BBs have not dropped. He refuses to become a mother effer.
It's not who he is. It's not who he is.
Exactly. And so that's why he'll never be a star. Because
he's a star. He'll never be a superstar, you can argue, but he's a star because what he does on the defensive end is so above and beyond that his defense, Big O.
He's UD and PJ Brown.
Oh God, no. Those guys never had the defensive versatility that Bam did. Bam is a defensive,
not defensive versatility, but he did a pretty good job on slowing down Dirk Nowitzki in 06.
Look, okay. they had moments. I would say this. Bam
and UD was very clutch from 15, 16 feet away, which is, by the way, one of the things that I talked about earlier. Like, if Bam wanted to, right, because he has the ability, he can drown you in 16 footers. Why
And
he
has.
does it, I have no idea. And look,
And
his game is so remedial that all they do now is pack the paint because they know he's not going to kill you from the outside. But it's pretty easy. If they're going to pack the paint, nail them with 15 footers, 15 footers, 15 footers. And then once you bring them out, you have the athleticism to
he
take
did
it.
that for the first 3 months of this season when his scoring was up, his shooting was in, his middies was good as anyone. And then Big O comes playoff defense. And then it's a different sport the way they play it.
You got to be able to do both. If you're a star, you got to be able to do both. All the great stars do both. They help you on defense, they help you on offense. We've had them here, those kind of cats. I'm telling you, he is a UD, a PJ Brown. He is a
Offensively,
a super role player, a different kind, because all three of them are completely different. But yeah, are they important cogs to your team? Hells to the end. This is what I tell people all the time. What you need is a star on this team, along with Butler, and Caleb can be your three, and Bam can run everything else, roll, defense, all that kind of stuff. It's your Tyler, Lowry, and Duncan salaries that should have been a star instead, unfortunately.
And Tyler still might be. He was trending that way this year. Defensively, he's limited, but you know what? So many stars in this league are limited, from the Beals to the Lillard.
He's not reliable. He can't be. His body doesn't hold up, Ira. It's 2 straight years you're in the postseason without the kid. It's just you can't count on somebody like that. You've got, and by the way, he's had injury history throughout his entire tenure. He has missed time all throughout. Durability is a real problem for Tyler Hero, which, I don't even know if he could ever become a defensive force because his body doesn't hold up, all the time.
Oh, he'll never be a defensive force. I think he could be one of those players who's scoring alone, the Bradley Beals, the Damian Lillard, players like that, whose offense can be so above and beyond. Again, number 2 scorer on this team during the season, freak injury, diving for a loose ball, not usage, not his body breaking down. He dove for a loose ball and 2 of his fingers jammed through the back of his hand. It's a happenstance. Now, look, I agree. Whether it's serendipity or not, you have to be available. Availability is still the best ability. I agree with that, Big O.
Bam plays through injuries. Jimmy plays through injuries. Caleb slid his back right into the goddamn chairs in the Knicks game, twisted up his ankle, came back. Gabe twists up his ankle. He comes back. You got to find a way to fight through things. And then sometimes Tyler's had some of these injuries that you can't fight through because they're just big injuries.
Breaks, yeah.
Bottom line is, dude, there has to be some durability there, some toughness. And unfortunately with Tyler, that's been a real problem outside of dressing terrible. Anyway, yeah. Oh God. I know I'm Mr. Concert Shirt and Jeans, so I can't talk, but Jesus Christ, but my style doesn't change at least.
I would say this though, Big O, both you and I couldn't afford to dress as terribly as Tyler dresses.
No, I can't afford his hats. Just his hats alone probably cost a lot more than, 86 of my concert shirts, combined. So it is what it is. But tonight, the growth of Caleb. It's almost like this offense has to go through Jimmy and Caleb, correct? I mean, that's
nothing really goes through Caleb. They don't call plays for Caleb. Caleb's energy has to energize the offense. That's what he does. Cuts, second chances, fast breaks, transitions. That's been the problem against playoff level.
Run some of the offense through him. That's my point.
You can't, because that's not what he does. You run through Jimmy. And that's the problem. You try to run through Bam, and you see right away whether it's going to be another 5 of 16 night, and then you're in big trouble, or else you have to find another person. That's why they miss Tyler. This series and most playoff series this deep are about creativity. We've seen it with Jamal Murray with the Nuggets. Let's be honest, Big O. We saw it with Tyler Hero, especially in the bubble against the Celtics. There's so little offensive creativity that just what you spoke about, Jimmy Butler breaking down, they are asking him on every offensive set. You initiate. Gabe Vincent hit shots. Gabe Vincent probably takes some shots he shouldn't, but he's not afraid. But he's almost become their number 2 option when it comes to shots. And I mean, you're talking about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on one end and Jimmy Butler, and you don't even know who player B is on the Heat end. Kind of remarkable, even being up 3-0, that they're at a Game 7 when you look at the talent disparity.
Do you have they ever told you? 'Cause I know they don't talk much, but has anybody in the building ever told you? Does anybody like get into Bam's face, like try to challenge him to be
You
nastier?
coach players as to who they are, and they know that Bam is not the kind of player, if they do the fiery rip into him type of coaches that we've seen before. He's someone you have to work with. And again, I think they also know from their metrics and their film and everything what his ceiling is. He's never going to be a great offensive player because that's just not who he is, because they're asking him at 6'9" to go against giants at times,
But the
including
ability
against.
is there. It's not who he is because of his inner person. It's not because he doesn't have the skill set, which is the screwed up part about Bam. Bam has the skill set to be a 3-point shooter also, by the way. Look at his stroke. The kid's got it, bro. He doesn't have this, you know, what's it called? Like a discombobulated type of, shot. Or dude, it's a beautiful
But
shot.
I'm not sure I want him away from the rim. Look, one of the problems Big O is on defense. He switches out. He goes away from the rim. We've seen the Heat have gotten killed. There is no rim protection on this team. God bless Cody Zeller. Well, now if you want him to shoot threes, then no one's getting the offensive rebounds also. That's the problem. The problem with Bam also is this, Big O. If you'll let me talk for a second here, is this. He has played well alongside another big. Him and Kelly Olynyk, 2020 in the bubble. Myers Leonard, God bless him for what he is or isn't. The Heat, by making Bam play with smalls almost all the time exclusively, God bless Caleb Martin, but hell, I don't even know if he's a small forward or a shooting guard, and he's starting at power forward. I think when you have someone like Bam in a perfect world, you always talk about getting a number 2 for Jimmy Butler. I think you need to find some size alongside Bam so you don't sort of overstretch him from what he should be. He's 6'9". He's the prototypic build of an NBA power forward who's been asked to play center from day one since he arrived and replaced Hassan Whiteside.
All right, what do they got to do to win tonight, man?
Make threes and have Boston miss threes. It's so simple. It's like, you and I can talk strategy for another hour here in our Acura Pembroke Pines report. The Heat have to hit threes. The Celtics came out here in Game 5 and hit so many threes, the Heat were done right away. I know it's cliche about being a make or miss league, but tonight is a make or miss game. The Celtics made no three-pointers at all in Game 6. That's why the Heat, on an awful night from Jimmy, a poor night from Bam, were able to survive. If Boston just returns to the mean, the Heat are in trouble. Unless Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, and Max Strus and their three-point shooters come through, I think this very much is a game decided at the three-point line. And throughout the course of the regular season and the playoffs, Boston's been the better three-point shooting team.
No Tyler tonight, right? Of course.
No, but man, he worked so hard. You saw the video we tweeted out from practice. He is working so hard. I even turned to someone, I go, how about for a minute or two tonight if they need him? And, no, he's not ready, but he's getting close. I would say this. I don't think tonight, but I never fully trust the Heat injury report. But if they get to the finals, yeah, I think you'll see some Tyler.
All right. Yeah, they could use that off the bench. That's for sure. A little spark. What do you got going on leading up to game time?
Well, everyone's sort of forgetting, but this could be Udonis Haslem's final game. And I spoke to him, and he said, look, they almost lost in that plane to Chicago, and that would have been a very unceremonious end to his career. If nothing else, he's riding the playoff wave. He says, look, I'm not thinking about the end now. I'm thinking about going to the finals, but at least it's the way he wanted to go out, with some glory, with a deep playoff run. So I spoke to him about that. Then I spoke to a player who plays for the Celtics, Justin Champagny, about he played with Heat players in Sioux Falls this year in the G League. And he said, you know what, Ira? Orlando Robinson, Jamal Cain, even Nikola Jovic, they look really good in our playoff run in Sioux Falls. The Heat might have their next pipeline. And Big O, that is important for this reason. Gabe Vincent's an unrestricted free agent. Max Strus is an unrestricted free agent. There is only so much money under the cap, under the hard cap for the Heat. They may have to go in a different direction with youth. And what he told me was the Heat are also in good shape stepping forward, and that's what they've always done. They've always had next man up.
Those guys to go over the cap?
You won't have to. They'll be minimum guys. They're under contract. It's minimum deal, so you won't. The Heat can re-sign Vincent and Strus to go over the cap. Absolutely. There is nothing from stopping them from signing it. And Big O, we'll talk about this further down the road. You've heard it and I've heard it. Mickey Harrison has said, if our team is in championship contention, I will spend whatever it takes. Well, hell, you can't be much closer to championship contention. I think you'd agree that a Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be a very interesting offseason.
listen, like I've told the Heat Nation, in the end, okay, you can say whatever the hell you want. If they told you 4 years ago, Spo and Jimmy are going to 3 Eastern Conference Finals, possibly 2 NBA Finals, and you're only going to have 1 star on this team, everybody would have said, "Get the hell out of here, dude. What are you, ridiculous?" Like Joel Embiid can't do this shit. Like the Nets with their stars that they had for a couple years, they can't do this shit. Like go around the entire NBA. Giannis may be the only one that may have done this 3 out of the last 4 years or something
and the
like
Celtics.
that.
And the Celtics. Right.
No one and by the way, the Celtics and the Bucks, they're doing it with more than Jimmy Butler.
A lot more.
That's my point. Nobody has done more with less in 4 years than Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler. Let's not lose sight of this. So even if they lose tonight, as much as it sucks, as much as you're 150 and you're the one, I get all of that. This is terrible. I don't want them to lose. But the bottom line is they have severely overachieved for 4 years. The failure was that the front office did not get that other star next to Jimmy. And that's my problem with this whole scenario. We have ruined the 4 best years that you're going to get from Jimmy Butler. And that's the part that really bothers me in the end. But I don't know if you can ask for any more from these 2 men. You can't, really, to be honest. And that needs to be said, talked about enough. Nobody's done this in 4 years. Nobody.
It's been a hell of a run, maybe more of a run. Maybe next Acura Pembroke Pines report from the NBA Finals. If not, you're right. We'll be talking about a season that far exceeded expectations. So tonight we'll decide all that.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch him here doing his thing with the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Ira, enjoy the evening. Let's hope you have a happy locker room.
Well, I'm off to flying somewhere tomorrow. I'll find out tonight about 11 p.m. Thanks, Big O.
You got it. There you go. Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.